to the March 10th edition of Midweek Missions, the weekly missions update from First Baptist Nixa. Today I'd like us to do something a little different. Periodically, I would like to introduce you to an unreached people group from around the world. Now, what is an unreached people group? Well, I think first we should define what a people group is. The Joshua Project is a ministry of Frontier Ventures, which is a missions ministry founded by Ralph Winter, who is probably the most influential missiologist of the 20th century. On the Joshua Project website, which is a super helpful resource for all things missions, they define a people group as a significantly large group of individuals who perceive themselves to have a common affinity for one another because of their shared language, religion, ethnicity, residence, class or caste, situation, etc., or some combination of these. For evangelization purposes, a people group is the largest group within which the gospel can spread as a church planting movement without encountering barriers of understanding or acceptance. Now, it was Ralph Winter who at the 1974 Lausanne Conference on World Evangelization awakened the church to the truth that when Jesus said in Matthew 24:14 that this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. And when he said in Matthew 28:19, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, that nations, the Greek word is ethne, does not refer to geopolitical entities like the United States or China or Belgium, but rather to ethno-linguistic groups, a group with a unique ethnicity, a unique language, a unique culture all its own. And one of the reasons why this revelation was so important to the task of understanding world missions and our accomplishment of the Great Commission is that there are only 195 countries in the world, all of which have been penetrated with the gospel to one degree or another. But there are, as of today, so far as we know, 17,433 ethnic groups, people groups, nations in the biblical sense of the term. 7,418 of which, that is 42.5% of which, are labeled as unreached. Now you can understand how that truth would impact our task and our commitment to the Great Commission, that realization, the impact that realization would have upon the way that we view global missions. So what is an unreached people group? An unreached people group is a people group among which there is no indigenous community of believing Christians with adequate numbers and resources to evangelize this people group without outside assistance. In other words, it's a people group that is incapable of evangelizing itself because there are too few Christians and too few churches. Now, in terms of numbers, that means that this people group has less than 2% evangelical Christians. In other words, these are groups that need missionaries desperately. Now, an unengaged, unreached people group is a step even further. This is a people group among which there is no active church planting underway. In other words, this is a people group in which there is no gospel witness at all. Well, I would like to begin incorporating a regular prayer time for some of these unreached people groups. And to do so, I will be utilizing the Joshua Project's Unreached of the Day resource, which is available online, joshuaproject.net, and also on their mobile app, or it's even available via email. So if you're interested, you can go to any one of those three resources and you can access this Unreached People Group of the Day resource from the Joshua Project. Well, today's unreached people group are the Beldar people of Bangladesh. The name Beldar in India is derived from the words digging instrument and the person who uses it. They are a people most known for agricultural work, mainly digging in and transporting soil. As with most modern people groups, they have since moved past their traditional roles. Some Beldar are now engaged in animal husbandry, business, and industrial or unskilled labor. However, these are few in number. They are considered to be a part of the low-status Shudra caste, and they themselves share this view. Most Beldar are bilingual, speaking a national language as well as their own Bagelkhandi dialect. Very few have converted to Islam, and only 100 or so are known to be Christian. Most Beldar are Hindus. Because of the low social standing of the Beldar, education levels and literacy rates may be low. As such, print materials may have a limited impact upon them. Now, because of the low standing of the Beldar, they are likely to have never been honored, to have never been served. So missionaries could strive to love and to serve them from a position of lowliness in order to introduce them to the God who washed the feet of common fishermen. As a prayer focus, they point out two items for which we could pray. Number one, pray that they would be hungry for spiritual truth that will lead them to Christ. And number two, pray for outrageous boldness and godly wisdom for the few believers and for discipleship movements to spring up in their communities. Now, as you pray through these prayer points, we will put up a 1-minute timer at the end of which this video will end. As always, you can stop the timer and pray for longer if you wish, but let's dedicate at least a minute today to pray for this unreached people group, the Beldar people of Bangladesh.